winning the Daytona 500 was obviously a pretty special moment in my career just because of the fact it's the Daytona 500. So winning that race really made you understand the significance of winning the Daytona 500 and what that meant as a driver, because holding the Harley J. Earl Trophy, seeing the track trophy with all the winners' names on it, you realize that it's an iconic moment in the sport. It's an iconic trophy, and putting your name on that trophy is something that puts you with an elite group of people. So for me to go back to 2007, and it was a really cool end of the race, but winning the race is what it's all about. And so making a replica of the 2007 Daytona 500 helmet to me was something that I thought was a no-brainer. So we made the Busch Light helmet into the exact scheme that we had during the 2007 Daytona 500 and just put the Busch Light colors on it. So for me, what is one of my biggest wins in my career is something that I'm looking forward to paying tribute to during this year's Daytona 500.
The finish between you and Mark Martin is still the second closest Daytona 500 finish. Describe those final moments in beating Mark.
When I go back and think about the race itself and in racing one of the sport's most iconic figures in Mark Martin, who I've become friends with throughout the years, is something that makes this particular win even more special from my side, not from Mark's side. I know that it's still a thorn in his side that he didn't win the Daytona 500 in that particular year, but for me to have his name next to mine in what is still one of the closest finishes in Daytona 500 history is an honor and a privilege to have our names together as a part of that win.
Then what is your best memory or moment from the night of winning the Daytona 500?
My best moment in memory from this particular night is probably not what everybody would expect. My favorite moment is the pit box being closed, the team back at the hauler, and everybody thinking that we didn't have a chance to win the race when we restarted 30th or 28th, 32nd, whatever the actual position was, I think with 12 laps to go. And then coming back and winning the race and having one of the coolest Daytona 500 finishes in history, and knowing that my team was gone, and my wife and crew chief and engineer and a couple of the guys on the team were sitting on the pit wall just waiting for the race to be over, and then we win. So those are moments that I always like because of the fact that everybody else kind of gives up. And I always look at those moments as, well, what if? What if you could come back and win the race? It'll be one of those moments, and this particular night was one of those moments.
Can you just explain why you wanted to do the specialty and throwback helmets?
So as we went through the process of planning my last year, we really tried to go back and think about significant moments in my career and how we could go back and really showcase more than just saying, this was a great night and what was great about it. So we talked about helmets. We have helmets, we have gloves, we have shoes, we have logos, we have cars that are redesigned, and the helmets are just a significant part of what we've done through the years. And I think it's a great piece to be able to tell a story about an individual race in a way that we may not otherwise be able to tell that story because of the fact that some helmets have special stories, some helmets have different meaning, but they all have a significant part of that particular event in one way, shape, or form because I had it on my head. So as we went through the planning stages, one thing that was significant to each piece of merchandise and each car, die-cast, everything that we were going to do throughout the year, we wanted to have a logo that represented something that represented the last year and kind of tied everything together. So each helmet will have the Forever logo on the back, and when there's a significant meaning to a particular race or a particular moment that we want to represent, we will add a slogan to that Forever logo. And on this particular helmet, it says, "Forever a 500 champ." Pretty cool.